progressive. All these words have been used to describe the culture I identify with. Yet the culture continues to grow widely. My object today is my 110mm super telephoto lomography lens. I'm a photographer for a local newspaper, and this lens and its culture has become a really big part of my job. Lomography isn't simply just a hobby or gimmick, but it's a gateway into understanding brilliant photography. Throughout this speech, I will be first discussing the importance of lomography, and then secondly, its importance to me. First, I'll talk about my artifact. The culture my artifact identifies with is the culture of lomography. Lomography is a type of photography that was invented by Vietnamese students that discovered the camera, the Lomo Compact Automatic Camera, which is a German camera. After becoming amazed by the imperfect yet amazing photos that they found, the community began to grow. With more people joining in lomography, the community began to grow as people became enticed by the dream quality of the photos. Modern day photography is a world of instant gratification. With everything being shown instantly on your camera or your cell phones, the beauty of analog shooting has slowly gone away. But now the younger generation is slowly discovering that the beauty and patience of waiting for film to be developed. Since Lomo cameras use film, the photographer is forced to wait on the result of each and every photograph. Patience is a major component in photography, and it separates the good photos from the great ones. The people part of this culture tend to create the images with all of its specks and imperfections and rather put a filter on a digital photo. While modern cameras focus heavily on megapixels and true color range, Lomo cameras embrace all the imperfections of film. Lomo culture is one of travel and adventure. Oftentimes you'll see someone with a Diana camera slung around their back as they're going to Disneyland or to a national park. Because these cameras produce really dark images, it forces the photographer to go out and find the right lighting and the right setting for each and every photograph. The opportunity for the best photograph often presents itself in the span of like 5 minutes. So you have to constantly be looking for the best possible photo. Now, why I identify with this culture? Well, a film camera was my first camera. It taught me everything I knew about photography. It taught me how that mistakes are fine, but what's important is to never stop shooting for the best photo. These cameras are ruthless, and they do not help the photographer at all since there's no aperture, no focus ring, nothing that digital photography gives you now, even on your cell phone. It can be one of the most frustrating forms of art. However, what makes it worth it is the end result. I've been doing photography since I was very young, and throughout the years I've learned that the feeling of seeing an amazing photo after waiting for it to be developed is far more gratifying than seeing one show up on your LCD screen. Since film costs money for every 30 exposures or so, you have to learn to pick and choose the best photographs possible and not just waste 1,000 photos on something that isn't. Another reason why I identify with this culture is because I view photography as a form of art. These cameras produce the best images for that. The imperfections do not detract from the images these cameras make, but rather add to it. Because of the deep saturation, the vignetting, and the light leaks, lomography tends to fall more into the experimental form of photography. Because of the limits set on these cameras, the photographers are constantly forced to become creative in his intent on how he gets his photographs. There are several techniques in lomography, such as slow shutter, where one will hold down the shutter button and let objects move past his camera, creating light streaks, and then release the shutter button, or double exposures, where you continue to press the shutter button repeatedly and layer the images one on top of another. So all these reasons show how important lomography is to the art world and to the photography world. So in conclusion, lomography is an important part of today's photography and teaching students on how to become good photographers. And these reasons are shown through forcing the photographer to learn how to compose his shots and teaching him patience on how to find those shots. I believe that lomography won't be something that will be left in the past, but rather something that will continue on. Thank you.